the Titans don't have Von Miller or a lot of the players that the Bills have. Here's Coach Mike Vrabel on the question of whether or not play calling was the issue as the Titans failed to match the Bills point for point.
I mean, playing and play calling go hand in hand. There's always going to be some plays out there as a player that you wish you had back. There's always going to be calls as a play caller that you wish you had back. Now is not the time. We've never done it. It's not going to be about one person. We got our asses kicked. Plain and simple. They outcoached us. They outplayed us. And that's the definition of it. And so we're going to get back to work, and we're going to figure out a way to win a football game.
And, the Titans are in that mode, and you and I talk about this every year. When one loss becomes two, you get a little more antsy, a little more nervous, a little more stress in the building. Yeah. Got to get that win. Got to get that win. And, the Titans 0-2, we're going to talk later about the panic meter, and they're in one of the weakest divisions in football, so it's not as if they can't turn it around. But this really is a team who has fallen off. They really have. There's a different vibe around this team than there was last year as they were beating the Bills on a Monday night, as Derrick Henry was unstoppable, and then they lose Derrick Henry, and they're still winning football games. There's something missing there, and I can't put my finger on it, but they're going to drop the curtain on Ryan Tannehill sooner or later and move to Malik Willis if they can't begin to get back to where they were last year. Now, that may be weeks away, but why wouldn't – if things just go off the rails, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you at some point?
Yeah.
Just say, we got to play the young guy because we've lost it. Whatever we had last year, we've lost it, and we got to try to get it back with someone else at quarterback.
I hear you, but I think the point you made to start it there is really what's going to be an issue for that. And I still believe Malik Willis is the future there in Tennessee, so I'm not disagreeing with you. But I do think the fact that their division's not good, that the Colts are sitting there 0-1-1, the Texans are 0-1-1, the Jaguars are at top with 1-1, and that they're going to be alive in this. And, as much as, Ryan Tannehill, he's not a superstar and, the clock might be ticking in his time in Tennessee and all that. That last night was not a Ryan Tannehill problem, at least not in my opinion. It was not. Hey, no Harold Landry on defense, definitely. They need their defense to be dominant. That hurts their football team. He spent a lot of money on him and Bud Dupree, and they got Jeffrey Simmons to be dominant there. To help you put your finger on it. Their O-line isn't as good. They're not as dominant. We've seen that in 2 weeks here where they can't really get Derrick Henry going the way we've seen in the past. They've lost some guys. Guys have gotten a little older. And then the other thing that, really I think handicaps them or hurts them in a game like last night and hurts their offense altogether, there's no A.J. Brown. There's no difference maker on their team. There's no scary player, right? So even in a game like this last year where you'd go, wow, it seems like I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up, it was like, there's a jump ball to A.J. Brown. Oh, now they got a little momentum. Oh, here's A.J. Brown over the middle. I think about like that Christmas Eve or December 23rd game against the 49ers last year. Remember, 49ers were kind of whooping their butt? What'd they do? They threw a few jump balls to A.J. Brown, and all of a sudden we're going, whoa, they're in the game, and they might pull this off. And that's, to me, a big part of what they're missing. And Treylon Burks and Robert Woods aren't, delivering in that capacity.
The one team that – no. Well, the one team that had a receiver on its first contract.
Yeah.
The other receivers who moved were on their second contract. Brown was on his first contract, and they said, we'll just backfill with Treylon Burks with the first-round pick that we get from the Eagles because we don't want to pay this guy. The experiment so far is not going well.
No, it ain't.
For the Tennessee Titans.
No, it's not.
And you look at their schedule, they got 3 games coming up that they could win, should win. And we'll see if they do win. They got the Raiders coming to town, then they go on the road at the Colts and at the Commanders, and an early bye in Week 6. They better win at least 2 out of the next 3. They better win all 3 of them because after that early Week 6 bye, the schedule is dotted with games like at the Chiefs, at the Packers, the Bengals, at the Eagles, which all of a sudden is, I'm not so sure I want to go there game, at the Chargers. They got the Cowboys still coming up. So They even though they're in arguably the weakest division in football, they got to get some wins now because it's not like there's a ton of easy check marks later in the year. Next 3 games, I think, are going to be critical for the Titans going into that bye because who knows? Who knows what kind of panic is going to set in Nashville if they limp into this bye at 1-5 or something like that.
Yeah, right.
After being the 1 seed last year. We've seen erratic and irrational decisions made by this franchise over the past 10 years. The A.J. Brown thing is just one of them. There have been other erratic decisions and premature decisions, and I could see that there are some folks in the building who, hopefully won't do anything rash in week 6. That's all I'm saying. But the best way to avoid it, win some games. 3 winnable games coming up for the Titans.
Yeah, well, I think, Mike Vrabel, I always think about, like, when we were watching the game last night, there's a few times, because you and I had a lot of laughs about this, but that video we saw in the draft room, right, of him shaking his head right after they got rid of A.J. Brown. He got up to take a walk around the office and, like, shake his head because I think he was like, holy crapola, we just traded A.J. Brown. Okay. I mean, just, 10 days after I said he'll never be not a Titan as long as I'm here, and freak show player. And, I can't help but to imagine that, he has shaken his head about 10, 20 more times since then, going, damn, we let A.J. Brown go. Specifically, last night or last Sunday when he saw what A.J. Brown was doing for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's not easy. But I think you and I both agree that, if there's one coach or things that's going to get things straight here, Vrabel is that kind of guy. He is that guy. He's not going to panic. And the fact that he's at least with a guy and John Robinson who comes from New England, a GM there, and they're in this together. I think cool. What do they say? Cool heads will prevail here, and I do believe
close
that.
enough.
They'll something like that. They'll figure out their formula for what works for their football team, and I do think they'll still be a major player in the AFC. It's just, are they going to be a number 1 seed? The way they're playing right now, it doesn't look like it, but we'll see if they can get it straightened out.
I do want to say this though. You mentioned that Vrabel and Robinson are in this together. I wonder whether they are.
Yeah.
I just wonder.
Okay.
I wonder. Here's why. I got some evidence.
Okay.
You mentioned Vrabel's reaction
right
to the A.J. Brown trade. Now, look, here's the problem. You got cameras all over the draft room. If you have a human moment,
here
people
it is.
see it
Good
and they
job,
react
guys.
to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Look at that.
Yeah, he's
Play it again. That's a crick in the neck. That was like,
I wish
that was a crick in the neck. Like, look, he's walking away. He's like, wait, I gotta walk away. Look, shakes his head. He walked I can't believe we traded this guy. Look, you can hear another crick in the neck. Damn. We lost A.J. Brown.
but let me go back to June of 2021 when they traded for Julio Jones. Remember when all that played out? John Robinson was the guy who did the radio interviews, the TV spots, the press conference. Vrabel was nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be heard. I believe Vrabel wanted nothing to do with Julio Jones. And what did Jones do last year with Tennessee? Nothing.
Yeah.
So and I'm a firm believer, and there's a chapter in Playmakers devoted to it, the importance of the coach and the GM being on the same page, especially because the coach is the one who's down in the pit every week, and who knows where the GM is. Oh, there's a GM up in the owner's suite, sitting right next to the owner, telling the owner all the things that I'm doing wrong. And I had a coach once tell me that he went to an NBA game, and he was able to witness all the things that the non-coaches were saying to the owner about the team, and became horrified at what do the non-coaches in my organization say to my owner about me during a game, right?
Right.
But that's part of the tension. And I feel like they do a nice job of keeping a semi-lid on it, except for when Vrabel's walking around the draft room wanting to kill somebody. But you know what? If there's a power struggle to be had in Tennessee, I don't know how Vrabel doesn't win it. Because they were right. Well, he was right if he didn't want Jones, and he was right if he didn't want to get rid of A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
How many of those wins do you have to stack up before somebody says, we're just going to listen to this guy? This guy seems to know what he's doing. And I'm not trying to cause trouble here, but we got to be real about this. There's reason to wonder whether or not Robinson and Vrabel are on the same page. And if ownership starts to get upset about where things are and starts asking tough questions, that's where that relationship gets tested. Are they truly in this together to the point where both go down or neither go down? Or, if there's an opportunity, if somebody's getting fired, that's when the relationship is tested more than ever. And if this continues, we're careening towards something where ownership is going to demand answers to tough questions in Tennessee.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it could go that way. I'm going to bet that it doesn't, though. I'm going to bet that, just with the fact that knowing John Robinson a little bit, us being around Vrabel, they're real football guys. I think that's the first thing. I do think out of two guys, I know everybody's got an ego in the NFL and all that, but these are two of the lesser egos, I think, in the sport, where they just want to watch film, evaluate players, come up with game plans, and do that. So I gotta think there's a healthy respect there, and they have a grittiness about them as individuals that I think just works together, and then it shows on their football team. But yes, as we know, to your point, when things start to go downhill, it can get ugly, certainly. But hopefully they can realize they've done a lot of good things here the last few years. Tennessee Titans have not been this relevant in a long time. I mean, not to this capacity. And I still think they're very much alive in the AFC South and banged up a little bit, got injuries on both sides of the ball to a degree, lose Taylor Lewan early on in the football game. So where I do believe this is a team that'll get better as the year goes. And then they're the kind of team that you're like, oh, man, you don't want to see them in the playoffs because there's a Vrabel crazy defensive game plan. And if they can get that run game rolling, all of a sudden you go, whoa, they got the run game rolling and they're keeping the ball 8 minutes per drive. And then Vrabel does something crazy on defense. And all of a sudden you look up and you go, whoa, we're down 10-0 and it's almost halftime here. And we've only had the ball a few times. So I still look at them as having potentially a dangerous football team from that standpoint. We'll just see if they can accomplish that.
We mentioned the next 3 games before their Week 6 bye. If they are 1-4 or worse going into the bye, do you flip from Tannehill to Malik Willis?
It would depend. I have to see how it looks. I would. I mean, as much as I love Malik Willis in the preseason and all that, we know it was raw. He would tell you that. Vrabel told us that. We saw it with our own eyes. I mean, it was fun to watch because you went, oh my gosh, look at that throw. Whoa, sidearm. Whoa, what a great run. But there was also a handful of plays where you went, whoa, he didn't see that guy in coverage, or whoa, I don't know what he was looking at there. So it would have to be Ryan Tannehill really disappointing bad play. And again, last night, not that it was, they just got stuck in a game that was not made for them. In a bad environment there that just all of a sudden they had to start pushing the issue, and that's not the kind of game the Tennessee Titans want to play. So I guess what I'm saying is, I think they're going to stick with Ryan Tannehill unless they're truly oh my gosh, it's so bad, we got to move on, and let's just start getting Malik Willis reps and start playing for 2023.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.